about this case that you guys posted on Facebook, the background of it, and what you're hoping to accomplish?
So the case that we posted was the unsolved murder of Desondero Hall, and what we're hoping to accomplish is just to get the word out there, and that people with information will come forward, especially if they haven't been spoken to yet by police officers.
Yeah, like you guys posted, it's been 15 plus years since the murder happened. Tell us what you guys know and just more of the details of what happened.
So on April 23rd of 2009, officers responded to a welfare concern at 3808 Pansy Street in Texarkana, Texas. We had been called because some of the victim's friends had been trying to get a hold of him all morning and he hadn't answered the phone. So they thought that was unusual for him. They went over to his house to check on him. And when they arrived, they found that there was broken glass on the carport door. They tried to call out to him through the open hole in the glass, and he didn't respond. They could hear his dog barking inside, so they eventually went in, continued to call for him, and he still didn't answer. So at that point, they knew something was very wrong, and they called us. Once our officers got there, they went all the way in the house and were able to find the victim deceased in his bedroom. And it was evident that he had suffered a gunshot wound.
Where was he shot?
In the head.
Okay.
So as he was on his bed.
So after that, give us the timeline. Was anybody arrested? Were there any suspects?
So immediately we started investigating, and we learned that on the night before he had attended a kind of a gathering at a friend's house where they watched a sports game. And after that, he and his son left. When they arrived home, there was somebody that to this day is unknown in the driveway. According to subsequent interviews with the son, this was a black male, and he was driving a maroon car, and as he described it, with blue on the top and bottom, so a multicolor paint job. The son did not recognize this stranger, and the father and the victim didn't initially. They later went inside where the victim and the stranger sat and watched a movie in the living room, and the son went to bed because he had school the next morning. When the son awoke, he got himself ready for school and went to school. This wasn't unusual for him not to see his father, because he normally would get up, get himself dressed, and go catch the bus. So that wasn't unusual that he didn't see him. He did not remember there being broken glass when he left, but obviously by the time Mr. Hall's friends had got there, somebody had broken the glass. So when you ask about suspects, the stranger, of course, is somebody we'd love to talk to, because it's very possible he's the last person that actually saw Mr. Hall alive. There were other suspects that come forward just for tips and rumors, and those have been investigated as thoroughly as we can. We haven't arrived at probable cause for an arrest on anybody yet.
Was there anything in Mr. Hall's background that would suggest that this would have happened to him, that he would have been affiliated with anything?
So during the interview, we received several tips about Mr. Hall being involved in some illegal drugs, as well as, according to some statements, counterfeit money. It's unclear if that was the exact motive or not.
So dealing with a case like this, how difficult can it be just trying to get leads after 15 years?
It is difficult. As the years pass, memories fade, and some people that I would like to speak to about the case are now deceased. So it is a little bit more difficult, but the passage of time does not diminish the victim's right to life or the family's right to justice. So we are still very motivated to get answers for this case and for this gentleman's family.
How has the family been over the past couple of years working with you guys? How has it been for them from what you could tell?
I was able to speak with Mr. Hall's mother. I believe she has recently passed, but I have spoken with her about this case. The last time we spoke, she was desperate for answers. And now my point of contact has been his child's mother and his sister. And both of them are still just desperate to know what happened. And you can tell that after all these years, it still bothers them greatly not to have closure.
Going back to the stranger and the suspect that you guys are hoping to talk to, do you have any idea who it is? Any inkling of information?
I don't. During that, obviously, was a very distinct vehicle with the odd paint job. And we were able to locate several vehicles like that one that had similar colors, but through investigation, everybody that was involved in those vehicles was exonerated up to a point. They either had an alibi for the night of, or something like that. So no, at this point, the stranger is exactly that. He is a stranger.
What about the evidence in the case? Any DNA that you guys have or anything else of note?
So we did gather some things at the scene, and I have sent some things off to be tested. I'm still awaiting those results. Just things that seemed out of place, but like I said, we're still awaiting results on that.
When did you send that, and where did you send it to?
That was sent to the DPS crime lab in Garland, Texas.
You know what kind of gun was used?
A 9mm shell casing was recovered from the scene.
Okay, and just one shot.
Yes, from what I am reading here, yes.
So if somebody has information, what should they do?
They should contact the Texarkana, Texas Police Department and ask for Detective Shaddix. If I'm not available, I have some partners that help me with this case, and if I'm not available, you can either leave me a voicemail or ask to speak to one of them.
Do you have hope that you can find some answers after all these years?
Yes, I always have hope in these cases. I think it's important that somebody keep it going. The only way for sure that it's never going to be solved is if we stop trying, and I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to stop trying.